Healing in life. Let Yahuwah arise, and let his enemies be scattered. And let all those who hate him flee before him. I invoke and decree Psalm 37, 23, 119, and 91. We have suffered 83. It's the law of the jungle. Zion!
All right. So this video is going to be dealing with situational awareness and monitoring surveillance reconnaissance. And what I mean by that, or what that's defined as, is simply situational awareness. This series here it won't be on YouTube, I don't think. But you can go to my bio, click on the BitChute link, and it will be there. This is a very, very key investigation. I'm gonna put it like that, because I am an investigator in my own right, journalist and analyst, and my podcast that I've been running for the last wow, is it that long for real? Well, 3 years now. Has been really deeply centered around situational awareness. So I am going to help in Yahuwah's name Um, you don't need to tell me that. Just go get your water. Um, as long as y'all not messing over in the area where y'all know you're not supposed to, make sure y'all talk with your mom too. Um, so yeah. Oh yeah, and your sister. Excuse me. Uh, anyway, communication is key in situational awareness for sure, for sure. So I will be speaking on my experiences and encounters. I'm going to show this piece right here. I'm kind of skeptical on it. Maybe I won't show it on here. I'm just going to do this part of the video on here, and then I'll just do the rest um, elsewhere. I might not even use BitChute, to be honest, but because I got a couple other places in mind. But anyway, um, click on BitChute because that is going to be a place for a portion of the series for sure. Some of it will be, I don't know. Anyway, but some of it will be on a portion of it will be on BitChute. Um, so I will be sharing my testimonies and experiences along with some others that have experienced the same type of situations diversely. Now there are very different, very deep type situations, diversely, and mine specifically that I'm testifying on are over a lifetime thus far. Whose is that? Okay, just go upstairs. Ask your brother to come get the peanut butter. Um, so yeah, it's over a nice lengthy amount of time, and I am able to identify and relate with others who have gone through similar type situations that I've literally witnessed with my own eyes. You know what I'm saying? It was within their presence and stuff like that, their company, seeing that. Bring it here, please and thank you. Witnessing what was going on. And these are things that I have watched many videos, and here I hear things, you know what I'm saying? Some things in the streets, some things are just, in your face type stuff, apart from my own experiences and encounters. Um, and in my own investigations and research and stuff like that. So yeah, I do have and provide services as well. Um, it's always where it's always at. If you can't find it, just wait, because y'all keep trying to talk to me when I'm trying to do my work. So you're just gonna have to wait. Um, I thought y'all would have grabbed it before you went up there to do that, but maybe not. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna do this part right here on YouTube as well. Because it's got to be done, man. This is something that's been going on with my people for a long time, for decades, centuries, and it definitely um, is being put to a dramatic, an over dramatic end, a cutoff. But I do provide services and resources, and I am willing to partnership. Um, Now I have my own reprograms um, that are kind of like a placement. It's an analysis. It's okay. So I have an interview process. Then you know what I'm saying, that helps me to profile and analyze who I'm uh, communicating with. It's not the word I wanted to use, but that's what I'm going to use. Who I'm communicating with. I was going to say in communication with, or I'm, you know what I'm saying, basically knowing who you are, like what about you, like who are you, what are you doing, you know what I'm saying, like what are your motives, all that stuff, because um, there are those who have been affected in diverse ways, you know what I'm saying, that I have to look out for. I am not the only one doing this. I actually have a team, and it is a very great and thorough team. Um, and yeah, we watch out for our own, we protect our own, and we are definitely protected and guarded by the Most High and His Malachim, for sure, for sure. So yeah, I will also give testimonies of things that have um, happened or taken place to people um, in these things and stuff like that. So it's it's pretty well rounded, um, definitionary wise. So I'm going to describe um, the 5 ways human traffickers recruit victims, and there is more than 5. This is just what Baltimore Law Blog um, has posted. Um, One is traffickers target vulnerable populations. 2, sex and labor traffickers make false promises. Hold on, because excuse me, I don't want this in the video because it belongs to Benaya Israel, his YouTube channel. Um, and I was just doing my studies and stuff like that. Um, so yeah, number 2 is sex and labor traffickers make false promises. Um, Human traffickers often gain the trust of their victims. That's number 3. Number 4, many human trafficking victims are brought in through force or coercion. Five, human traffickers may promise love and affection. Now, it's a bit difficult for me at times to talk on stuff like this because the raw, I guess if I could say, reality of these things, it's not one of those that is like, oh yeah, well, no, it's too real. You know what I'm saying? And I don't like people going through stuff like this. I don't, you know. Okay, so number 1, according to the Polaris Project, a nonprofit organization that focuses on responding to, hold on, let me turn this around. I didn't want to necessarily do this one on YouTube, so I was not prepared to do all that, but I guess we're doing it tonight, at least for now. Okay, so yeah, this video is a bit crooked. Just gonna say that. I mean, it's obvious, you know. Let me see if I can straighten it up a little bit, just a little bit, hopefully. All right. Anyways, it's a bit crooked. Um, so according to the Polaris Project, a nonprofit organization that focuses on responding to preventing and ending human trafficking, human traffickers prey on the world's most vulnerable populations, luring them with false promises with romantic seduction or force. Vulnerable individuals often targeted by traffickers include people with substance use disorders, homeless youth, runaways, unstable housing, language barriers, mental health disorders, and criminal records. On this one, I have literally experienced this myself and encountered this myself. Um, what year was that? Uh, it was like 2016. I was going through it, and I didn't have anywhere to go, and I was in Detroit at the time, and I had been at a park, you know what I'm saying, pretty much all day. Um, just watching and walking and stuff like that, and I was telling people some of my story and stuff like that, and it was a group of men. You know what I'm saying? It was like three men, and one of them, I was talking to, shook my hand, and I promise you, it felt like he was crushing my bones with like it was a superhuman hand with like razor blades in it at the same time, and you know I don't know if I don't believe in coincidence, but I noticed later, as a side note, that my finger was bleeding, and I was sitting there trying to think, like, where the hell did I get cut at? You know what I'm saying? What are they doing? Because I'm like, okay, I don't remember touching anything sharp, so where the hell did I get cut at? That's what happens when you got the relatives over. Sometimes they just loud. Um, got to be considerate of people's work. All right. So yeah, shook the man's hand. It felt like a superhuman, handshake, crushing with razor blades in my hand. My finger ended up getting cut somehow because I was bleeding. And dude was like, come over here. You know what I'm saying? I got a house that you can see. You know what I'm saying? It's right over here. I'm like, really, for real? Like, really, literally over here? He's like, yeah. So it was literally right next to the park. All right. So, um, the whole thing was I didn't have anywhere to go, and I was looking for a place. You know what I'm saying? And asking, if people could just like be patient with me and stuff like that to like get a job, because I was in the process of getting a job. You know what I'm saying? Going to interview and all that type of stuff. I was going for an interview at Wendy's at the time, and there was a female that I had met at that time, and she was the one who took me up to Wendy's and stuff like that to fill out application, you know what I'm saying, like that, so I could set up an interview date and all that type of stuff. So we end up going across the park, the dude and I, you know what I'm saying, and the other two dudes was already by the house. And I noticed that the house was like a beige peach, like a beige peach. That's why I said beige-ish, beige peach type color. And I noticed the front window and the right side window was boarded up. And there was one man standing right in front of the house, and the other dude was like, you know what I'm saying, kind of next to him, but like in the driveway, kind of by the side. And the dude that I was walking with, you know what I'm saying, he was like, you know what I'm saying, only way in, it's right here, but the only way in is through the back. So immediately I felt in my ruach, my spirit, my heart, in my mind, like, nah, this ain't right. Something ain't right about this. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, you know what? I got to go do something, this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? I made it up an excuse, long story short, to get the hell out of there. Because that right there, that was one experience that Yahuwah like literally saved my life. Because only he knows what possibly could have happened had I went in that house with them. Um, I may not ever have made it out, or if I did, I wouldn't have been the same being that I am today. I could have been strung out on all types of weird stuff, drugs, poisons. I could have been trafficked further than that. I could have been raped, and I'm saying held up for torment and torture. Who knows? Now I've been through torment before, and I've been through torture before as a child. All throughout my childhood, diversely, literally into my age 20, in my 20s, um, in certain ways. So yeah, and then the heavier things beyond that took place. Um, okay. If you don't get out of my way, um, I had been targeted by this too, by relatives. Okay, um, unstable housing, um, as a homeless youth. All right, I went through this too, but this was because that was forced upon me. Um, I have been given drugs when I was younger and stuff like that in my teens and early 20s. That was literally um, crack, cocaine, um, and other things. Bath salt, some names, salvia, different stuff like that. I was hooked on pills, um, Theraflu and codeine from time to time. Um, the whole alcoholism thing that I went through. So the unstable housing thing was one. It has been a huge one throughout my life. That's, what I'm saying. So um, the mental health, I went through this too, but I I didn't really grasp this one as far as like how they use this in depth until like uh you know now. What I'm saying? So this has been a long, extensive study and research of all these things. So this has been over 10 years worth of studying and research and all that. So yeah, this has been a life. It's been a long time. Traffickers look for individuals who may feel hopeless or are struggling with dependency. They often target people with financial instability or those in poverty. Traffickers prey on a person's desperation, promising them independence and a way out. Their recruitment begins early and may involve several different members of the trafficking team. So I've been targeted on all that. Again, the homeless youth one, there was a female. She was about, how old she was like 15 years old. And her name, I'm not going to give her name, but this was in Colorado at the time. So long story short, there was a dude on Facebook, um, and the man's name was Blue. Um, and this man was known for taking pictures with females underage. There was images of him smoking and all type of different stuff. He had said that he took people in, young youth and stuff like that, try to help them out and stuff like that. Provide little programs and stuff to get them on their feet, this, that, and the third. I don't know how accurate and true that is. All I know is from one of my sources and partners that had revealed to me the man's Facebook page at the time. This was 2018. I've seen some posts, some live video feeds and stuff like that of people actually smoking. And this was all teenagers. The other young man that was connected to that man as well. I will not disclose his name. Um, but he was what, he was 15 going on 16, or no, he was 16. Um, and he had ties to the young female, the young woman. I'm not sure. Um, I mean, I know how deep they went, to an extent. But anyway, but there was people there that were younger than that as well. Now, this is where stuff got interesting, because the female actually was supposed to be at a, as they put her in a juvenile detention center type thing, for behavior and stuff like that. Which I will not. I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna talk about that one right now. But that's where she was. Where she was aboriginally, um, positioned by her. I guess you would say providers. Um, and she ran away from there a couple times. Um, and knowing the reality of certain things, I can see why. I've been through that. I've ran away from homes and stuff like that because of stuff that was going on and stuff like that. But anyway, um, so one day, because she would come over and stuff like that, talk to us. We'd be chilling and stuff like that. And at that time, we was all studying. You know what I'm saying? Like that's all we did, day and night. You know what I'm saying? Literally, like all every day. At work or not at work, like we in constant communication. You know what I'm saying? Checking up on each other, watching over each other. You know what I'm saying? Like when we get off work, you know what I'm saying? Come picking up each other off work where we could. You know what I'm saying? Whether bus or walking. Go back and forth to the grocery store, what I'm saying, with each other, help out with groceries, if we took a lift, or if we walked, or if we took a bus, or if we took bikes. You know what I'm saying? That's what we did. Or if we got a ride by somebody that we were familiar with, by relativity of friends and stuff like that, or associates. So one day, um her providers were trying to speak to us and stuff like that. We met up with him at a store, and pretty much he was trying to persuade her to go back to the place where they put her. And knowing how toxic that environment was and what it's really about and who they are as far as her providers go and the lifestyle that they were living, um, I automatically tried to plead with the man, you know what I'm saying, sharing my own testimonies and stuff like that. And he wasn't trying to hear none of that. Although there was a compromise. So she did not go back directly back to that center. All right. So a way was provided for her. So that went on for the space of time that it did. Then she ended up back at the man's house, Blue, at the time, and this was an elder man. He was like in his late 30s, early 40s, or something like that. But he was an elder dude for real. Um, so she ended up back at his house. Long story short, we ended up with a call after a while. Saying She was saying that she was trying to leave, but he wasn't trying to let her leave. She was trying to pick up her stuff that she had there and go, or pack it up and go, but he wouldn't allow her to go. Like pretty much he was like, you know what I'm saying, like, where you gonna go? You ain't got nowhere to go. This, that, and the third. So he was not trying to permit her to leave. So me and Blue end up getting her location and coordinates and all that. Um, this is um, how would you put that? This Blue that I'm talking about is an associate. So there was two Blues. Okay, one his name is he's Rough Cat. You know what I'm saying? He's a pretty cool dude. But the other Blue, his name was just Blue. I don't even know what the hell, you know. Anyways, we all we know is that from what we looked up and then from what we were originally disclosed on. So me and Rough Cat Blue, which is this dude was teenager, you know what I'm saying, and you know what I'm saying, he a different race than the other dude. The other dude actually was a black man, you know, unfortunately, the older dude. But me and Rough Cat, we ended up going, and after we got her location and stuff like that, we ended up calling a Lyft. We got picked up by a Lyft and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I took my proper um, tools and stuff like that and resources that I needed in order to enter the house. So once we got to the house, you know what I'm saying, we parked away from the house because I mean they didn't know where we was gonna come, who was coming anyway. You know what I'm saying, except for her, the young female, and they didn't know what type of car we were in, so they didn't know. Um, so I ended up getting out first. You know what I'm saying? I instructed Blue to stay in the car, to stay with the Lyft dude to make sure he don't drive off and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And the Lyft dude was already aware that we were going in to pick somebody up, you know what I'm saying, to get her out of a situation. So I went there. The door was partly open, and I hear the man and the young female talking. And the dude's like, you know what I'm saying, like, where are you going? You know what I'm saying? She said, I'm getting my stuff. I'm about to go. He's like, no, you not. You know what I'm saying? And then she's like, I'm gotta go. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm yes, I am. I'm about to go. He's like, where you gonna go? No, you not. You know what I'm saying? He's like, I'm the one to take care of you, this and the third. But so the door was partly open, so I hear that. So I'm standing by the door, and before I even got a chance to knock on the door, he come by the door, he opened it up, he see me, you know what I'm saying, in my uniform. He's like, oh shit. You know what I'm saying? And mind you, I am not the police. You know what I'm saying? But that's what he asked me, like, you the popos? And I was like, you know what I'm saying, I've come to pick up the female that's here, you know what I'm saying, to make sure that she gets home. So he's like, shoot, you come in, you know what I'm saying? He opened the door for me, everything. You know what I'm saying? I stepped in. Um, I just analyzed the environment a little bit, observing, you know what I'm saying, how it looked and what it, you know what I'm saying, what was going on. The curtains hung up certain areas. You know what I'm saying? There was three other young men in the front room. One was on, it was two on the couch. One was on like no, excuse me. One was on the couch. One was on the chair, and one was on a like another stool type thing. You know what I'm saying? They playing the game, smoking, you know, this, that, and the third. She was upstairs, and he had called up to her, you know what I'm saying? You're saying, like, make sure you got everything, you know what I'm saying, pretty much. And long story short, he pretty much told her, you know what I'm saying, like, and if you leave now, you know what I'm saying, like, don't come back over here. You know what I'm saying? So we ended up leaving. Um, everything, you know what I'm saying, everything was copacetic. Uh, we ended up getting in the lift, and we went back, you know what I'm saying, brought her to her proper designation. Now, um, come to find out, you know, about a month or so later, maybe a little bit more or less, the Lyft driver that had taken us to that location has been to that location before. All right. And we come to find out, because I didn't know that Rough Cat Blue had a separate conversation with the man in the car. So we come to find out that, you know what I'm saying, this man, who was an Ethiopian man, you know what I'm saying, unfortunately, yet again, um, evil wickedness is not prejudiced to color, um, or the genre of sex. Um, you know, they call it gender nowadays, but that's not the. It's no, you know, I'm old school. We come from calling it what sex are you, male or female? So anyway, we come to find out that this man had been to that house before, but she pretty much offered herself, you know what I'm saying, to this man. Um, although I don't think that it was literally just her offering herself to him, although um he, you know, so-called being a helping hand to help her get where she needed to be. This was a grown-ass man, you know what I'm saying, with a wife and everything. You know what I'm saying? And I know that because when we was in the car, his wife ended up calling. You see what I'm saying? So this was a grown man. You know what I'm saying? Having his way, however he chose, whatever his thought process is about that. You know what I'm saying? With a little, with a 15-year-old female, um, you know what I'm saying, and taking advantage of that. You know, so we found that out. You know what I'm saying? Thankfully, we had already previously ahead of time screenshotted this man's car, you know what I'm saying, and the model and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying, and name. So we have that on file, or we had it on file. Um, so yeah, we end up finding that out and stuff like that too. Then things got a little bit more dicier because she ended up going with that other young man again, the other 17-year-old, whose name I won't talk about. I'm only talking about my associate Rough Cat Blue because this was a young man that very promising, you know what I'm saying, and was very um, focused and adamant on being an impact an impact to youth and helping fight against this human trafficking crap. You know what I'm saying, and the things that most people just look past, you know, and they be like, oh, well, you're too young to be a helpful hand or to help out or make a difference. You know what I'm saying? So the system that we have created among my team members um, is one where we are diverse in what we do. You know what I'm saying? Like you have a voice here with us. You have a voice, and you have your position. You know what I'm saying? To be in and use your gifts and abilities to be helpful to other people who need that help. You know what I'm saying? Who might not have that help or resources. You know what I'm saying? Or voice, and to make a difference. But we do it for Yahuwah. You know what I'm saying? So it's all glory be to Yahuwah. Um, so he is the youngest one of our team members that is actually active in doing certain things and researching and studying. That has actually met all the criteria and stuff that I have for people to be part of what we do. We are not a 501c3. You know what I'm saying? We do this as um, a helping hand. You know what I'm saying? Our payment has been the satisfaction of helping people, seeing people smile, reunited, knowing that they have people who love them, who care for them, who adore them, who encourage them, who find greatness in them, and provoke them to actually be the best, the greatest them that they can be, and utilize their gifts and abilities for the glory of Yahuwah. You know what I'm saying? Um, so yeah, she ended up coming back. You know what I'm saying? The 17-year-old dude, you know what I'm saying, ended up getting back in contact with her this and the third. So she was teetering between her safe house and there again because the dude would come back, you know what I'm saying, at nighttime and stuff like that, random hours and stuff like that. And he was used as like a monitor, you know what I'm saying, to monitor, you know, what she was doing and who she was around, you know what I'm saying, to report back to the elder guy Blue. Um, so uh, that had to stop. You know what I'm saying? I have had to confront people multiple times um, about the safety of other people, especially young females and females in general and children. Um, and he pretty much stopped coming around after we had our community barbecue and get together, which was literally to celebrate. And it was actually the groundbreaking um, of the beginning of our work, IEA initiative. The IEA initiative um, is rooted in an ancient, it's multiple ancient practices and customs, but it's a protective services. Okay, and I have over 10 years of experience, going on 12 years now, of experience with diverse security trainings, diverse trainings of different factions of security, or levels of security trainings, included CNA and CPI training, both violent and nonviolent, um, crisis prevention intervention. Um, I have written reports when I've worked for Allied Universal Security. I have worked as a personal care physician. Um, I have done multiple other trainings and stuff like that. CPR, they make you go through CPR and stuff like that. They give you a lot of trainings, especially in Colorado, because Colorado is one of them states where it's like the way they train people, it's not like, the just average, oh, let's go to Dollar Tree type stuff, and you're a door greeter and watching the door and if somebody steals something, hey, stop, and but don't pursue. No, we were trained to pursue, um and then to obtain and bring back whatever was stolen. So in other words, prevention loss. um in most of the places where I've worked and stuff like that, they will tell you for safety purposes, don't pursue an assailant, so to speak, or a thief, you know what I'm saying? Because they don't know if it's an armed robber or what, you know what I'm saying? But me personally, I never really cared about that. Like, that was not, my first motive in mind to think about. Like, I was just like, oh, yo, this is wrong. And if somebody doesn't stand up and do something now, and confront this stuff, then people are going to continue to think that they can just go ahead and do it and get away with it, and to the point where they're literally bullying people to get what they want. And part of my training is as far as the violent prevention part, um, in restraining people. I have restrained people. No coincidence again. When I was working for Allied Universal Security at that time, I restrained another man who was an Ethiopian. You know what I'm saying? Who had tried to attack the two nurses that were trying to evaluate him, you know what I'm saying, and put him through the CAT scan thing and stuff like that, trying to evaluate, what I'm saying, his body and stuff, see what was wrong with him. And the man, as soon as he got up, you know what I'm saying, from being untied and stuff like, there was a point system: 1 point, 2 point, 3 point, 4 point. You know what I'm saying? As far as like, if you got to get subdued and tied down, restrained, you know what I'm saying, and that's what's got to be done for you to de-escalate. So he escalated very quickly, and I should have known at that time. I have furthered my studies and awareness since then exponentially, but at that time he was staring at me like he had a vengeance or something. I'm looking at him the whole time too, and I'm looking at this. You looking at me? I'm looking at you. I'm watching you. Watch me. Watch you too. That's how that go. You know what I'm saying? So we took him in the room. The security's supposed to go with them just in case they act out. You know what I'm saying? So they don't hurt the staff and the nurses and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Um, you got RNs that was in there and stuff like that, and so on and so on and so forth. But um, um, went in there, he started, you know what I'm saying, acting up. The nurses were being really nice to him. He started acting up, and we took him out at one point. Which was one of the arms. He went over there trying to unstrap the other ones. They're trying to tell him, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. Trying to put their hand on him to block him. He trying to fight them. You know what I'm saying? He grabbed one of them, and then I had grabbed hold of him. You know what I'm saying? Grabbing his arm and stuff like that, pulling him to make him let go. I put a pressure point on his hand and his wrist to help him let go. Then he turned towards me, and thankfully I had a t-shirt, a long sleeve shirt, a hoodie, and the actual uniform coat from Allied Universal Security on. But this man bit me in the shoulder, so I didn't walk away with like complete puncture wounds of this man's teeth. Thankfully he didn't rip a whole chunk of my flesh out because of all the layers I had on. You know what I'm saying? Because it was wintertime. Although I still had the bruising of the indentations of his teeth, and he was still able to have a good enough grip where part of my flesh was peeled just a little bit, and was bleeding a little bit. But you could see his teeth marks. You know what I'm saying, through the bruise and stuff, and it hurt. This man can bite like a freaking pit bull. Jeez. But anyway, by that time, in my mind, I was in a whole nother playing field where I'm like, now I'm about to respond a little bit more hostile. But thankfully I didn't. But what I did do once he got up far enough is I came from behind him and I wrapped my arms between his back and his arms, you know what I'm saying, because it was pulled back. And I locked my arms together. And I just kept squeezing as hard and as tight as I could to hold his arms in place so he couldn't use his arms at all to do any further damage to anybody. So from behind him, you know what I'm saying, I did that. And I had my knee in the midsection of his back, so he couldn't sit there, try to bend over and stuff like that and get an advantage and stuff like that. So we ended up getting to the floor, long story short, wrestling this man to the floor. I still had my knee in his back, and I had his arms and stuff like that. By that time, the nurses had already been calling for help and stuff like that. And then eventually, you know what I'm saying, 2 other security guards came in and helped take him back and restrain him. Now, my problem with that was, they had told us in our trainings that when it comes to situations like that, somebody who's potentially violent, um, there's supposed to be 2 security guards that go. One or both go in the room with the nurses and that patient, and or 2, um, one go in and then one stands outside the door just in case of emergency help. Okay, so the nurses, they take 2 nurses because one runs the cat, puts the patient on the bed, and runs the CAT scan part, what I'm saying, up there, and it has the buttons to push, and the other one is in the room that's next to it with the big old window that's running all the diagnostics on the computers and stuff like that, monitor stuff, and then the connection with other cameras. It's a lot, I'm saying, the phone stuff, all that stuff to communicate with further doctors, RNs, so on and so forth. So yeah, that happened, and I was a bit disappointed, what I'm saying. But thankfully, I thank Yah, because that was another way that Yah had like kind of revealed my potential to everybody that was around. You know what I'm saying? From one of the smallest people there, nobody expected a man of my stature, you know what I'm saying, and my physique to hold a man, you know what I'm saying, that was, one, taller than me and bigger than me, you know what I'm saying, and to be able to hold my own. So, not trying to, make fame, Yah brought that to me in a way. And then, you know what I'm saying, dealing with checkpoints and stuff like that, working at the ambulance bay and at the what they call that, the metal detector, and then taking the phones and stuff like that and checking in the computer data system to see if certain patients were there for their relatives, you know what I'm saying, and give them knowledge of what time the patient came in, pretty much answer their questions and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying, let them know what room they're in, this, that, and the third, according to protocol, with that, because sometimes they don't want, they really don't want the patient's relatives knowing where they are until after they've already assessed and evaluated them and got them placed in the proper room for visitors to come and see them and know their whereabouts. Because they have to assess what kind of condition the patient is in first. You know what I'm saying? They might come in there for drug overdose. They might come in there for have to end up going through triage and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying, due to bullet wounds and all that different type of stuff like that, or knife stabbings. I've seen people come in there with bullet wounds. I've seen people come in there because they were stabbed, you know what I'm saying, bleeding. One man ended up dying, with, you know what I'm saying. I've seen people come in there because they wasn't breathing or breathing properly. People coming in there because of asthma, disruptions and stuff like that. I've seen people come in there because they was on overdose, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. And some people because they were just mentally unstable. And then we had the patient watch, where we document every 15 minutes what the patient is doing. We watch them on the cameras. They all in their certain rooms. You know what I'm saying? So there's cameras in their rooms, so they can only lay up a certain position. They can't have any blankets or over their heads and stuff like that, or pillows and stuff like that. Otherwise, they keep being warned not to do that. You got to take it. And it's pretty warm in there in that area for the most part. So, you know, they either comply or there's um a consequence that comes with that. So with the whole point system and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying, even being in the point where having to help tie somebody down, in the point locks. Now the way that they do this is literally like a psych ward. It is the exact same thing, literally. So they they literally do in Colorado, they literally have literal psych wards, you know what I'm saying, inside their hospitals. They have the psychoanalysis, psychotherapists and stuff like that in there too, regular therapists. They do have the police in there, and stuff like that too. And then the ambulance crew that be in there, you know what I'm saying, they break rooms and stuff like that too. But they have a certain jurisdiction. Um, Now, when it comes to the ambulance bay, you know what I'm saying, or any space, the police cannot just go in there and arrest somebody. You know what I'm saying? That's a patient, due to the HIPAA laws, you know what I'm saying, and the violations of the HIPAA laws and stuff like that. So they have to wait until whoever is in there, the patient, is released. So the patient can go in there, be seen, blah, 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 diagnose and leave out, and then go back in there and go through the whole process again. You know what I'm saying? So whether it's by court summons or whatever, they can't leave out there for court. You know what I'm saying? None of that stuff. They have to, like, whenever the patient is ready to leave per the doctor's notice and um through discharge paperwork, then the patient can leave. Um, but you know what I'm saying, I've seen people who was like, there's been police going up there and stuff like that, check on the room or whatever, but they still have to prove they are who they say they are, because there has been people that have gone in those places who had worked there before, you know what I'm saying, and and acting like they was one of the valets and stuff like that, and then went in the hospital, and then people was like, how the hell did they get in the hospital? You know what I'm saying? These people trying to threaten people. They did teach us and train us. They taught us about active shooters and stuff like that, and awareness and stuff like that, and preparedness for that. And then they trained us on how to properly approach the active shooter live simulation, um, uh, tactical advantages. So they have a whole code system and stuff like that for that. If we need to evacuate the hospital, there's a whole training and code system on that. You know what I'm saying? What doors and out hallways to go down and stuff like that. How to actively disarm a active shooter. If one ends up coming through the doorway, you know what I'm saying, somehow after it being barricaded and blocked and stuff like that. But how to properly dismantle them, you know what I'm saying, and fully disarm them in that process, and or decapacitate them, um, and then subdue them in that process. Or bind them, you know what I'm saying. So we did have that training too. What the? Just give him the praise. This is the second day in a row video just popped up out of nowhere. This brother Prince David right there. Hello there, brother, man. Very great, encouraging. And yeah. So yeah, we had our training and stuff on that. And when it comes to an active shooter situation, if they breached the doorway, there would be two of us, if not three of us. You attack the one, find some way to trip that dude, you know what I'm saying, from the lower part, and the other one is up high, other security officer is up higher, and would be the collapser part of his arms to pretty much, you know what I'm saying, like you're not going to be able to pull the gun up to shoot anybody. So, you'll probably be able to shoot at the floor or something like that. But in that case, most people everybody would be out the way anyway. At least they better be, you know what I'm saying? Because the way they train us, you know what I'm saying? They train us like literally like police, though we're not the police. You know what I'm saying? And even in there, we have a degree of more authority over the police and jurisdiction because of the jurisdiction and the HIPAA and all that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? And um, um, police can't just go in there and do whatever they want to. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to somebody and stuff like that. So they do have armed security there and taser trained security. I was armed. Um, so yeah, but I had been armed before then anyway. Before I started working at Allied, because out in the streets, you know what I'm saying, crime prevention, situational awareness, tactical advancement trainings, um, and neighborhood watch. So we were watching over 200 people in our community. And that's just in the small part that, you know what I'm saying, you had what, one, two, three, four main buildings of family units that were not uh, the elders as far as, above 60 and stuff like that, or around 60, 50 and 60 and stuff like that. Um, so the four units that were regular families and stuff like that, um, two units had 2 floors, and the other units had 3 floors. Now the older elders, they had 2 big buildings, and those buildings had about four floors. Excuse me, 5 floors. Um, one had 4, the other had 5, and they had there was almost a thousand people in that whole community. Because then you had the other smaller 1 bedroom um, apartments and stuff like that, like townhomes and stuff like that, um, that were for the elders and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So um, all together, there was around 1,000 plus people in that community. So the amount of us that started doing this, at first everybody was like just nonchalant about each other in the community. They never really talked to each other. They never really, like really intermingled and got to know each other. You know what I'm saying? Then it got to that point where we were the influence in that area. Okay. Now on my own accord, because I was doing stuff beyond that, um, I myself have been watching a 5 mile radius. So I would be in and out about a 5 mile radius, um, in diverse ways. I knew where all the firemen lived. I knew where all the police officers lived and stuff like that, and other neighborhood watch enforcers lived and stuff like that. Um, and then I was aware of other things in the community. One of them happened to be predators and stuff like that, and others. Um, so we knew where they lived. We knew what their offenses was. We knew how many times they had been offenders, and we were aware of the charges and stuff like that. Um, some of them we did go visit, and I most definitely face to face had a conversation with them at their house. Um, and then there was other times where I literally seen them driving around, but they didn't know that we were watching them. Like we always have eyes everywhere. We have eyes everywhere, so we know um, what we know. Um, so um, yeah, so the 5 mile radius, and day and night. What I'm saying? We out there day and night. What I'm saying? It was people from other neighborhoods, like a bunch of teenagers literally got involved. It was people from other neighborhoods. What I'm saying? coming in and from other apartment complexes, you know. One night we came across these four brothers, you know, Hawaiian brothers and stuff like that. We didn't know, we never seen them in that area. We had, you know what I'm saying, they weren't connected to anybody. They was walking straight through, you know what I'm saying? Like they lived there. And we had already known and kept track of people who lived there. You know what I'm saying? Cars, who drives what type of car, you know what I'm saying? All that type of stuff. The color, the license plates, you know, all that. So um the even yeah, even of those who visited. So we know um they didn't stay there. We haven't seen them around in the neighborhood, period. You know what I'm saying? Within a mile radius of you know, that a mile literally. So yeah, we didn't we didn't just sit back and let that just, you know, slide. So we was already outside anyway because we be outside, you know, every day and every night, you know what I'm saying, every season, you know what I'm saying. If it's not all of us, it's two or three of us, you know what I'm saying. If it's not two or three of us, it's one of us, and the others are watching periodically consistently through the windows, high, mid, and low, you know what I'm saying. So we have um a very well organized surveillance system, you know what I'm saying. um and then we have a documentation system where we would take out our phones, we record, and we monitor, you know what I'm saying. If police went in there, we watch the police too, because we know how corrupt the police are, and the etymology of the policy upholders of Rome, and the wickedness that has been done and the violence that has been done upon a diverse types of peoples, especially black people. So, you know, the majority of the people that were on watch was a diversity of people, and this was black and white people literally working together for the same mind and purpose, because there was a lot of children around there. In the area that we were posted in was a lot of sex offenders, you know what I'm saying, um, which are directly connected with sex trafficking. So we know that they had eyes on the neighborhood, so we already knew we need to have eyes on our neighborhood more than they're familiar with the neighborhood and themselves. Okay, so there's a couple of tactics that were used, that were unique, you know what I'm saying. They're unique to us, you know. No, we don't we don't see other people using these tactics. We've studied law enforcement, we have studied military, we have studied many things, you know what I'm saying, because many of us, you know, we wanted to go be in the military and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying. I myself at one time wanted to go enlist in the Navy, you know. um, and I myself had desired to be a police officer and a firefighter at one point in my life. So that was just, you know, part of my journey. You know, I have learned from police over the years in diverse ways. You know what I'm saying? Talked to police in groups, in one on one. You know what I'm saying? And people who was friends with them. So we've met some police that are not, you know, as corrupt or corrupt like many others. You know what I'm saying? I myself alone, with the help and only the help and the grace and strength of Yahuwah, have broken up fights with four people. So three on one, sitting there taking turns stomping on him or kicking on him or trying to punch him, and myself out there, little old me, by the grace and help and the strength of Yahuwah alone, pushing these dudes off of them. You know what I'm saying? Yelling at them and trying to talk to these young people like, what is wrong with you? You know what I'm saying? And this was black on black at this time. You know what I'm saying? Um, and that particular situation was in Detroit. In Detroit, you know what I'm saying, I have broken up several fights. You know, people have come into the community centers that I was working at, and the churches and stuff like that, and full blown fights, breaking stuff, throwing stuff, you know what I'm saying, bringing guns in and stuff like that. And all the elders and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying, and people that were supposed to be doing security around there, they would come to me because I am not afraid of confrontation. I don't fear confrontation, and I don't fear death. Been there, done that, experienced that. You know what I'm saying? And I don't fear men. You know what I'm saying? So all my encounters and experiences have made me into who I am by through the hands and the will and the heart of Yahuwah. You know what I'm saying? Um, and I don't like bullies. I've never liked bullies since I was a child. I've hated bullies. Um, and since I was a young child, I've been trying to fight bullies who was bullying other people. You know what I'm saying? And it didn't end up well for the bullies. I still end up getting in trouble along the way at times. You know what I'm saying? Because I was hot headed at that time. You know, and I was going through my own situations of you know homelessness and youth stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Because I grew up in a foster care system. You know what I'm saying? I grew up being abused. You know what I'm saying? Sexually and physically and mentally, um, and mentally, emotionally, it was just one and the same. Um, I had been raped before, numerous amount of times. You know what I'm saying? Um, I had been touched on by males and females. Um, I have been tormented and tortured. You know, I have a video on my other channel, Planet Weird News, where I speak on this. And in the video on here on this channel, it talks about before the trauma, where I express some things that I've experienced, along with many others who have as well. Now, going back to when we were in Colorado in the same neighborhood, when we were making our exodus out of that neighborhood, um, you know what I'm saying, before that ended up happening, it got to a point where all the elders, people of all ages, literally, they got the message and they embraced it, because it was one point in time at nighttime where everybody's windows was closed and all this type of stuff. People wasn't talking to each other like that, and barely talking, walking by. But how we got involved, we was like, no, we're gonna acknowledge each other. When you see me, you're gonna acknowledge me. You ain't about to just walk past me like I don't exist. We had enough of that, you know what I'm saying? And I myself, you know what I'm saying, I live by that. Like you're not just about to act like I don't exist and walk past me like you don't see me, bro. We neighbors. We're not supposed to be acting like I don't know you. Who are you? Oh, why are you talking to me? Let me hurry up and get inside. You know what I'm saying? No. I observed many of these peoples for a long time. I'm talking about 6 months to 7 months, 8 months, you know what I'm saying? Before I actually engaged with people. You know what I'm saying? From my experiences and stuff like that, and just how I was taught in certain things growing up. So it's in me. It's part of who I am, and my identity. So it got to that point where daytime and nighttime, all windows was in some way either cracked, with the shades and the blinds cracked, or completely open, where everybody was watching. Everybody was watching, and if they wasn't, they knew that they was being watched over. They knew that somebody was watching and somebody was on guard. Me, I was armed 24/7. You know what I'm saying? So I carried 2 pistols. I carried five magazines. I carried my vest. You know what I'm saying? And my other tools that I had. You know what I'm saying? My cuffs, all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I was actually um, doing studies and stuff like that on criminal justice and and uh, mercy bail enforcement. So I was doing some training and stuff like that. Um, and some things got averted because of certain situations that took place. You know what I'm saying? Um, Afterwards, because of unstable housing. Um, but everybody was on watch. You know what I'm saying? Like, there wasn't no fighting. We the children came together. Like, I'll be outside. You know what I'm saying? At first, you know what I'm saying, people was iffy because they knew I was armed. You know what I'm saying? I kept telling people I'm not the police, because I'm not the police. You know what I'm saying? Although I have my trainings, I have studied the police. You know what I'm saying? I have studied what I've studied, that y'all gave me to study, and what y'all has qualified me for. So no one can disqualify that or discount that. You know what I'm saying? You don't have that authority nor the ability to do that. And given the history of the etymology of where the police came from, you really have no authority, nor power, nor jurisdiction to hinder or be a domineering um, in a domineering position. You know what I'm saying? These are men. You know what I'm saying? Like we are men, and you know what I'm saying? Like our slogan. You know what I'm saying? Like they people, you're men. You know what I'm saying? Without them badges and vests and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? You look like a regular man without your, you know what I'm saying? Without your guns and stuff like that, and all the tools and stuff like that. Y'all bully people, those who do, because you have this stuff. You know what I'm saying? You men, you bleed like we bleed. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all have families like we have families, and we've literally talked to police in these manners where it's like, bro, you got a family, you got children. You know what I'm saying? Like we they knew we was armed. You know what I'm saying? They knew, but they also knew that we were not out there causing trouble. That's the whole key. That's the fundamental piece. We were not out there causing trouble. We were not out there being criminals. You know what I'm saying, or criminalizing nothing. You know what I'm saying? We was out there doing what we were supposed to do to protect our neighborhood. This was, you know what I'm saying, 2018, 2019. You know what I'm saying? All that crap that was going on in that time too. You know what I'm saying? So every time they came, as quick as they came is as quick as they left, because they knew we was watching, and you really didn't see much of a presence of them, much at all. You know what I'm saying? Because they already knew. Mind you, there was other people there, you know what I'm saying, in their 20s, early 30s, who went to school for criminal justice. You see what I'm saying? Who were nurses, who were doctors, you know what I'm saying? Ex-military and police. So they knew, you know what I'm saying? They knew. There were people there who were experienced, people who have had their degrees, all that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So we were learning from all these types of people on top of all the other ones. We were learning that, you know, people that's been in certain industries and stuff 30, 40, 50 years. You know what I'm saying? Some as low as 25 to 15 to 10 to 5, you know. And adding to our own experiences. So we have been doing our research and studying, you know what I'm saying, thoroughly, you know what I'm saying? Because I mean, why would you not want to look out for children? Why would you not want to look out for the elders? Why would you not want to look out for you know what I'm saying, the mothers and the fathers and stuff like that? People get tired from going to work. You know what I'm saying? People be going through stuff. We there encouraging each other, building each other up. You know what I'm saying? When we doing music, we out there. You know what I'm saying? We communing together, and we watching over each other. We was there, people going through situations with their families and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? We had our own sanctum where we sitting there, we talking. You know what I'm saying? We could talk, because sometimes some of those families, they weren't able to talk to their children. Their children weren't able to talk to them. You know what I'm saying? So they just needed somebody who was willing to hear. You know what I'm saying? And listen for real, and not just try to fix them. You know what I'm saying? And all this time, we speaking about the word. We speaking the bazaar, as they say, the gospel. You know what I'm saying? We speaking Yah's word, studying it. You know what I'm saying? There was atheists involved. There was people who was Catholics involved. You know what I'm saying? Catholic Christian. You know what I'm saying? There was people who were Satanists that left Satanism. You know what I'm saying? There was people, Hebrew Israelites. You know what I'm saying? And so on. And it was black and white. And then the Hawaiian brothers, you know what I'm saying, when we had talked to them and stuff like that, they thought we was about to fight them too. It was like, nah, we just be looking over our hood. So that expanded, you know what I'm saying, the neighborhood watch to a whole nother part of the not the it's the same neighborhood, but an apartment complex, you know what I'm saying? And we used to go through there too. You know, shortly after that, one of the people who lived in our complex moved over to that complex too. So we was watching. We in the stores, liquor store, gas station, you know what I'm saying? Whole Foods, Dick's Sporting Goods. I mean, you name it. GameStop, you know what I'm saying? Target, like we restaurants, we there. We looking out for each other. We walk right past each other, watching each other, you know what I'm saying? Looking out for each other and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Calling, texting. Somebody need help, call me, text me. You see anything that seem out of place or seem weird, let us know. And that's what we did. We do the same thing to this very day. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? It's like if it feels amazing. It is amazing to have that reward of just doing what you know is right because it's right. And seeing people smile, seeing people break down and crying, you know what I'm saying, and getting healing, seeing people express themselves, you know what I'm saying, and you're there to help console one another. There was married families, there was single people, you know what I'm saying, there was people going through juggling between divorce and stuff like that, new relationships and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying, and intimacies and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying, coming into play during that whole situation, that whole time, that whole season, you know what I'm saying. So that whole 2 years um was very powerful, very, very powerful. We got to see the hand of Yah in a way that I wasn't expecting at all. You know what I'm saying? Like we were really engaged. You know what I'm saying? We studying all types of stuff. You know, at that time, yeah, we was smoking. You know what I'm saying? Some people was drinking. You know, um, freestyling and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? With the music. You know what I'm saying? But we, you know, we be at each other crib playing games on the Xbox One that bro had. You know what I'm saying? And he had yeah, little bro, he was getting it. You know what I'm saying? And then everybody that didn't have jobs end up getting jobs. You see what I'm saying? So little bro ended up going back to school. He was ahead of all his. This man was 3 months ahead of all the other students in his classes, and he wasn't even 17 at the time. He was 15 at that time. You know what I'm saying? This particular time, and you know what I'm saying, being there to be a helpful hand with him. You know what I'm saying, in his homework and stuff like that. You know, and his auntie, who was really like a auntie to me. You know what I'm saying? Um, she looked out for us. We looked out for them. You know what I'm saying? Like if bro needed a haircut, got the clippers. You know what I'm saying? So if somebody needed food, bet got some extra food. Somebody know how to get some food, bet we got some extra food. We can help out. You know what I'm saying? So this is how intimate we really was. You know what I'm saying? And no, the majority of the housing people did not like what we were doing. You know, we tried to put together um the community barbecue thing. They was like, no, can't do that, you know, because they have their own community resources that they want to offer to people. But it's like we would look, we didn't care. That's irrelevant, bro. We live here. You know what I'm saying? You're not about to tell us that we can't use our resources for a community barbecue, but y'all we have to use specifically y'all's. Get out of here, man. We got our own resources. You know what I'm saying? You can't. You don't control us, and you will not. You know what I'm saying? You cannot. So that's all there is to it. And we did our thing. We did our thing. Flat out. That's all there is to it. We're not asking for somebody's approval. You know what I mean? That's just something we not doing. You know what I'm saying? um so we've got through these two. Um I've been through these, most definitely, both of these. I've been through all five of them. I've experienced all five of those and encountered all five of those. Um, um, this stuff came through relatives. This part right here, all this, the promise of intimate partner or marriage, familial recruitment, job offer or advertisement, posing as a benefactor through other false promises or fraud. Been through all that. The relatives. This specifically, the relatives. You know what I'm saying? And this came through that as well. All, like, really all this stuff. So yeah, this whole list came through relatives and many others beyond them. So one of the most effective ways traffickers recruit victims is by making false promises. They may offer romantic involvement, or a job opportunity. They may give the person a feeling of security, giving them hope for a better future. The top five recruitment tactics, according to Polaris, is sex trafficking. The promise of an intimate partner or marriage, familiar recruitment, job offer, or advertisement, posing as a benefactor through other false promises or fraud. Contrary to popular belief, sex traffickers do not only target women. Men, women, and children are all potential victims, either lured or forced into sex trafficking, as reported by the Polaris Project in that community, is particularly vulnerable to this form of trafficking. Now, the situation with a woman trying to traffic myself and and some people that I was close to in the name of help at the time when we was homeless, and the people that she was connected to and that she worked with, that just became a whole mess. This is how we ended up literally exiting out of that neighborhood completely. After chasing her and the other sex dude that was over there in that neighborhood, predator, and him through the neighborhood, out of the neighborhood. The whole neighborhood was on their heads. People stopping their cars in the middle of the street, people driving by, going around the street, you know what I'm saying? The next block coming by to try to cut her off. People in their yards, whole families, women especially. Ma'am, excuse me, ma'am, hey, ma'am. Yeah, that whole neighborhood was on her head, bro. Whole neighborhood. There was people that was part of biker gangs, all that, you know what I'm saying? Because they knew we wasn't no troublemakers. They knew it was about community, you know what I'm saying? We had some other resources as far as, like, you know what I'm saying, people that helped and stuff like that too, you know. um, um so yeah, they give the person a feeling of security, giving them hope for a better future. The top 5 recruitment tactics according to Polaris for sex trafficking, I already read that already. So contrary, okay, I read that already. 3, human traffickers often gain the trust of their victims. Human traffickers use several methods to control their victims. In many cases, traffickers try to gain and trust their victims. They provide a sense of structure or stability that they may be lacking, or they fulfill a particular need. A trafficker may offer financial assistance or make false promises of love and affection during the early stages. A trafficker may entice a young victim with new clothes or educational opportunities. A single mother may think she is responding to a legitimate advertisement for a good work. Human trafficking does not always take place in dark alleys or through force. It can be subtle process that takes months to complete. And we've had ones who was in broad daylight, literally. This one with the woman, broad daylight. The other one with the man that I talked about when we was in Detroit, broad daylight. My relatives, broad daylight. And these were networks. It wasn't just 1 or 2 people or 3 people. This was networks. There was one point in time, literally, it was 200 people. And they were organizations. I know exactly where they were because I went to church with them. Them on top of relatives. Yeah, I've had death threats from when I was married. The woman's mother threatened me. There might be some people that might not want to, like what you're saying, they might want to kill you. They hated me anyway. They hated me because her daughter was a victim of this very same thing, being prostituted by her sister and her sister's baby daddy at that time, so that they could pay their light and bills when they had more than enough money and resources to get their bills paid and to pay their bills. And they had children, so they had more than enough. And I witnessed it with my own eyes for several years. So that got exposed. She didn't want me to say anything, but after a while, from them messing with me after so much, I'm like, you know what, this has got to stop, because y'all looking at me like the bad guy and treat me like trash. You know what I'm saying? For loving your daughter, your sister, your niece or whatever. And all I'm doing is showing her some affection. You know what I'm saying? And being there for her to help her out when y'all being dickheads. So that got flipped real quick. You know what I'm saying? They still hated me over time regardless. But you know what I'm saying, they did other attempts too. They tried to bring in other types of people to separate us. They tried to bring Freemasons in, straight from prison. You know what I'm saying? They brought two of them in the same day. Y'all got us out of that. Um, we were with another couple, white couple in Detroit at that time. You know what I'm saying? Who were Freemasons as well. We end up coming to find out, and they had connections to the Confederacy, KKK, and all that type of stuff. And we had lived with them for 8 months. We was the last family there, and Yah gave me warning to them, and I warned them, and what Yah said was going to happen actually happened too. Um, so again, seeing the power of Yahuwah there. Yahuwah took them out. Long story short, or that man anyway, through his wife. Um, yeah. Um, so yeah, doing security of diverse churches, community centers. You know what I'm saying? Helping with this. I have a lot of experience. I have a long, as they say, rap sheet or portfolio, um, resume. I have a very long one. Um, uh, Mercy, I'm sleepy. There was a couple more that I wanted to speak on. Um, yeah, we lived with another man at one point in time, black man in a church, and he was manipulating the two females. One that was, at the time when I was married, and the other one who we were family and friends with and stuff like that for 2 years and stuff like that prior. We had met at church and this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? A church, and then we went to their church. It was long. We had a history. You know what I'm saying? We was helping out the community and stuff like that on accord with Yah at that time as well. With the time with them. So we have a very extensive relation with in helping and experiences with helping the community and stuff like that. And these have been people who were troubled youth of all types. You know what I'm saying? Of all types, of all types. You know what I'm saying? We have witnessed dope dealers get actual, honest work. You know what I'm saying? People go back to school. You know what I'm saying? People who were on drugs stop altogether, and they're still changing lives to this day. You know what I'm saying? In diversity. Um, from me, growing up in adoption and 13 different foster homes, the adoption was an illegal and failed adoption at that, from making the worst case in history of the state of Colorado in 1996. Severe malnutrition, dehydration, and pneumonia. Tormented, tortured, handcuffed to poles in basements, beaten, left rib broken, left hip out of place, cigarette burns. I can go on and on and on, but you'll have to watch my other videos, so you can hear that, because I don't have the energy to speak on all that right now. It's a lot. So yeah, it's a lot, man. It's a lot. I can go on more because I have more. I have testimonies for decades. I've had ones where we was in the shelters, in a couple different shelters. Where staff members, where they were literally targeting certain types of families, and these ones were black, causing problems, trying to get them kicked out of the shelters. I have been targeted myself multiple different times, and when they kicked myself and my children out of the shelter at that time years ago, Yah made a way where we were able to get back in there and expose the rest of what was going on. Because I was exposing stuff when we was in there. I didn't care what people were thinking. Like, you're wrong. If you didn't want to get exposed, you shouldn't be doing that wrong stuff. Flat out. You know what I'm saying? You know what you're doing is wrong. And you feel like because you're in that position of power and you have more money or whatever, or house and stuff like that over people, that you're better than them or greater than them, and you can oppress them. No, you will not. You will not oppress, suppress, nor depress. You have that none of that authority nor dominion. All right, that's all there is to it. Long story short, when y'all brought me back in there, I talked to the head manager, the overseer and stuff like that. And that whole staffing faculty, all but two people, had been completely replaced. Then about a year and a half to 2 years later, somebody that we knew, ended up going back in there again. And their report had become where all them people had been removed. All the staff had been completely replaced, except for one, I think it was, but she ended up being replaced eventually after that as well. So again, the power of Yahya, hallelujah. Then there was another one where we were being targeted, you know what I'm saying? Because it was actually one of the therapists I was talking to, and I had signed the paperwork with her and everything on some things, and she still used it against me as a weapon. And then I had, I went through the whole process of letting them know. I showed them the paperwork, like it was on file, So it's like they let that go too, because like you ain't had no choice every single time, People have tried to use this, that, and the third against us, and it's like, bro, they ran out of options. They've used some of the worst things. They have used many of the worst things, and Yah's provided a way every single time and provided for us and protected us, seeking his heart, his will, doing things his way. So yeah, we've been followed and stalked in parks day and night. There was a woman, that same one I was talking about that was chasing the hood. She was sitting across one of the canals when we lived in Colorado, across from my children, watching them for about 30 minutes. And I was literally watching her watch them. And as soon as I came over there, because they got too close to the canal, she had her head down and she got up and left. There was a woman with a dog one morning that came to the park, in school and stuff like that. She went behind the fence. Funny thing is, she bent down because there was like a green covering on part of the fence. She bent down right next to the fence and looked my way, and then got back up real quick. But she was acting like she was stretching, and then kept walking with the dog. There was police officers. I talked to the man. I knew his name. Seen him a couple times walking through the park. But it started dawning on me, like, wait a minute. There was white vans and white SUVs with tinted windows. There was black vans and cars and SUVs with tinted windows that was parking around us. All right. And these different people that's coming in, like, I know your profile. I know the type of stuff that y'all wear. I know y'all disguises. You know what I'm saying? And one of the disguises that woman used was she put on a wig that was braided. She took off her glasses and put on a baseball cap, some shorts, and walked through the park. I still recognize who you are. You know what I'm saying? So, and then my prayer is always, and always has been, Yah, make our enemies expose themselves, whether they are aware of it or not, or want to or not. Like, make them do it. And he does that, and he will continue to do that. And that's what happened. And I was like, hey, her name was Miss Julie. She's like, hey, and kept walking. You expose yourself. Look at Yah. Yeah, that was her undoing, because you was wrong. You had no business doing that to us. We didn't do you any wrong. You tried to steal from me and my children. You went up and ruined my job. You lied to the dude that was the boss at that time. You know what I'm saying? And I had all the proofs of it. And because you caused all that trouble, you know what I'm saying, I couldn't work there no more. You know what I'm saying? We went through all these. All of those. So human trafficking does not always take place in dark alleys or through force. It can be a subtle process that takes months to complete. Many human trafficking victims are brought in through force or coercion. Now, the Mason house that we lived in when we was in Detroit, there was 6 of us that lived there with them, and we were all black, and those people were all white. And they separated us, meaning they manipulated, they picked us off, they kicked certain people out the house for no apparent reason, and they tried to set us against each other. you're better than him with it. They think they might think that you're their leader. They tried to put that shit in my head too, and I was like not having that at all. Um, and then they turned my wife against me at the time, and that's a huge reason why we were no longer we hadn't been together for a long time. Um, so yeah, in some cases, traffickers use force or coercion to recruit their victims. It may be a threat of violence or actual physical violence. It makes someone comply with their demands. In addition to abuse against an individual person, as a sex or labor trafficker may use threats against a person's family to force a victim into compliance. My relatives have done that numerous amount of times. When I was married, her relatives did that numerous amount of times. Even people in the churches. There was a man that was living with, going back to that, where the two women he was messing with was one when I was married, the wife that I had, and another one was our sister. And he couldn't get with the sister, so he, in the name of taking my wife to go to work and stuff like that, so she can make some money, this, that, and the third, nighttime and all that. Yeah, yeah. And the other, I'm saying, he was a brother of a pastor, and the other church that we went to, it was another brother of a pastor, and both of those dudes was black too, unfortunately. Physical abuse, sexual abuse, emotional abuse, threats against family or friends, exploitation or manipulation, psychological intimidation, isolation and restraints, all that. Traffickers may use other forms of entrapment, such as taking the victim's passport or threatening to turn them into immigration. Um, my own mother has done that with me, as far as like my ID and social security card and birth certificate, phones. When I was on food stamps at the time, that food stamp card and health card, all that. Um, may believe that they are indebted to the trafficker, or that without the trafficker's help, they may not have the means to survive. She had controlled my money, all that. Like one day I asked for $15. She's like, I ain't for what? I ain't giving you no $15 because I needed a new shirt. Yeah, it was a huge problem. My children was one at the time. We stayed with her another time. You know what I'm saying? My children were able to lay on the carpet upstairs because my youngest son at the time, you know what I'm saying, he was a little baby, so he peed through the diaper at times. And she was like, y'all can't sleep on my carpet. We didn't have an air bed. You didn't want to sleep on the air bed, you know what I'm saying? So we couldn't have that because if they peed on it, it was a problem. Then they couldn't sleep on the carpet. I'm like, where we gonna sleep at? Y'all can sleep you can sleep in the basement. Not on my carpet, not on the couch. So we were literally sleeping on the concrete floor. And this was their grandma. It's supposed to be my mom. When I went to work, she would eat, but she didn't want to give them food. And my babies told me. My son had very, 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 very bad rashes to the point where they were blistering and red, almost bleeding. Leaving my son's diapers on him to that point where he had very bad diaper rash. Or when he was on the pot, left him on there for hours. And then wanted to whoop him. This is a little baby. You're out of your mind. You know what I'm saying? They ain't gonna sit there and call everybody and the relatives talking about he didn't leave nothing for them. I was just at work and I brought food and I left food for them. And I told you to give it to them. And you gonna sit there and eat part of the food. And then give them what you want them to have. And then when I put my portion up, I'm saying that I got from work literally the next day. You know what I'm saying? So I'd have something to eat too, because I couldn't eat none of your food without you crying. And get a whole refrigerator and freezer full of food. And a bigger freezer downstairs. Deep freezer. And you didn't want to share no food. You just unnecessary. You know what I'm saying? Then you gonna sit there and tell people I took the food and left with it and eating. I took my own portion, you dope. You know what I'm saying? Then gonna sit there when I get off work, or before I get off work, my sister called my phone talking about because she braided my daughter's hair. I'm like, yeah, but you can't take her nowhere. These weirdos took my daughter to my sister's house after I told them not to. And then when they brought them back, mind you, it was freezing cold. It was below zero at that time, winter time. Took them back to finally got them at my sister's house. Finally got them back to my mom's house. Then my mom didn't want to let any of us in, my children or me. And my sister out there like why you not gonna let them in? It's cold out there. We just out there for over an hour. Then she finally let them in there. Then shut the door and locked the door. And gonna sit there and laugh at me and get on the phone talking and slandering me and all this nasty stuff and wicked stuff. Tell me I love my grandbabies. I almost broke her window at that time, but I didn't. I didn't want to call the police, but I did. And long story short, the police came. They knew that we had been staying there for a while. You know what I'm saying? And then it was like, you know what I'm saying? Those are your children. You know what I'm saying? Go in and get your children. You know what I'm saying? Because I got custody of mine. You know what I'm saying? I got all of that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it was like, go get your children. Thank you, Yah, yet again. Yah, hallelujah, Yahuwah. You know what I'm saying? And then some of our possessions she wouldn't let us take out of there. So a lot of that got destroyed too because of that. And long story short, you know, after that, a while after that, her whole basement got flooded and destroyed. Some like her houses have been destroyed through the flooding of basements and bed bugs diversely over the years from messing with us. Yup. And she's lost many things. She's been through several car accidents because of that. Two of them she almost died in. One of them literally she could have been paralyzed for the rest of her life, and that was in 2019. And then the last time, you know what I'm saying, like she did it again after like two years, bro, or 3 years. I'm like, yo, you still ain't learned yet. And that's by that time y'all was like, there will be blood. And I'm like, dang, because I already by that time, you know what I'm saying, I had already known what when y'all say he not playing around and he'll fight. When he said to me, I will fight against those who fight against you, and I will be an adversary to your adversaries, and I will give men's lives for you. Look, it's no game. It's no game. The house of Freemasons we lived in, that main head of that house ended up dying. Y'all used his own wife to take him out. Okay, so many people have no idea that sex labor trafficking exists in their city or town. In the United States, most people believe or think that it only happens in their countries, or if it does happen, it only involves a small sector of the population. Tragically, this could be not further from the truth, and that is definitely true. You know what I'm saying? But Yah has saved us. He sent people to help us and to support us, even people that were of the system that did not agree with the system. You know what I'm saying? That tried to come against us, to fight against us. You know what I'm saying? Because of weirdos lying and trying to, and setting me up. Many times I've been through all kinds of setups. You would not. I'm telling you, some things you probably wouldn't even think to dream, to possibly think, to imagine. But networks, you know what I'm saying? When you have gone through a network of over 200 people at one time targeting you and your family and your loved ones, and watching you, stalking you, following you from city to city, you know what I'm saying? Trying to kill you, trying to separate you. It was a couple of dudes in that neighborhood in Colorado when we lived at one point in time. The same day when that was going on with that lady and the other dude, you know what I'm saying, driving around. There was two white dudes. They looked like they was teenagers or early 20s in a black Dodge that almost hit me speeding down the street. And my thoughts is they was like her nephews or something. Because she wanted money, and she wanted money, and she wanted my children. Because there was a comment that she made at one point in time. She was like, "It's a shame. We could have been friends for about 10 and 15 years." And when I looked up who she was and who she was connected to, this woman was connected directly to the KKK. I'm like, oh, that's what your daddy name is, and that's what he part of. Oh, yeah, we out. We out. She don't know that how I found out, and she will never. Yeah, hallelujah, Yahuwah. That's how I found out about Yahuwah. It reveals these things. If you out there being wicked, you will never be able to hide that. You think you can. That's why they got witches and stuff like that, and all them enchantments and sorceries and all that weird stuff out there to try to conceal that stuff. You'll never be able to conceal that. God exposes the deep secrets of the heart. He exposes the plans of the wicked ones. And they already know that. So God's taking these idols and he's taking these systems down. Those who have risen themselves up opposed to him and destroying his his people. And I will say this, the whole slave trade system is a perfect prime example of exploitation of black people and other peoples, but especially the chosen people of Israel, black people. They're not white people, never were white people. Um, and they know that. It's in their books, it's in their writings, it's in their catalogs, it's in their museums, it's in their libraries, all of that. They know that. It's documented. So they be acting like it's a big secret out there and shadow banning different types of people. You're not shadow banning anybody here in Yahuwah name. You won't, because that's what thus says Yahuwah. You know what I'm saying? You're not taking any videos down no more, none of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Yahuwah's in control here. This is Yahuwah's work. You don't have authority or power, no dominion over him or against him, nor opposed to him. He is the one who set y'all up. You chose to make your own choices, so he will be the one to take you down because all that you have is his anyways. So you have no power for it. And that's weak, a weak-minded individual who sits there and does this type of stuff to people. A very weak-minded, sick-minded individual. You know what I'm saying? People who need healing, people who need, for real. They need to repent. They need deliverance. You know what I'm saying? They need to get them demons out of them. And if you know people who are doing this to your relatives, to the children out here, or somebody that you know, you better speak up. Speak up. You can reach out to me. There's other things you can reach out to. You know what I'm saying? We will give you resources of places that you can go. That's not, you know what I'm saying, doing the same stuff that they're supposed to be talking about or talking against, but they're still doing the same thing. They just don't want you to recognize, identify, or know that and know and see the connections. But if you see this happening, do something. Speak up. This is why people commit suicide and have suicidal ideations. This is why a lot of people go to drugs and stuff like that. This is why a lot of people call them crazy. They're not crazy. They need to be. They need somebody that will hear them and treat them like they are somebody. That they are something. That they're a human being. That they have some type of worth, some type of value. You know what I'm saying? People go to drugs. You know what I'm saying? And suicide ideations and suicide because they don't in their mind they're convinced that no one hears them, no one cares. No one finds them relevant. They have no value. They have no virtue. You know what I'm saying? They're unworthy. They feel worthless. That's how they think. And I know because I've been there. I have been there. I grew up in the system like that. I grew up around people like that. I myself had those thoughts. You know what I'm saying? And it took me some years to get the healing that I needed. It took me some years to accept the fact that I am somebody. I am worthy. I have worth. I have value. It is very great. And the problem is most people are not able to accept that because they don't want to. Some people are just freaking monsters. That's the real truth. Some people are just straight up monsters. They're just pure wicked, pure evil. That's all there is. That's all there is to it. That's real life. This is real raw life out here. You know what I'm saying? Some people, some creatures, some places, organizations, they're literally like that. That's just who they are. And they don't want to change. They get a nut off of that. That brings them joy. That gives them rest. They find they have no rest unless they cause something to slip and to fall or to fail. Or, you know what I'm saying? Y'all seeing it. I see it. As he revealed it and make it known, evidence, the connections, it is what it is. There's going to be those who don't like what I'm saying. I don't care. Because you're not doing anything different, you're guilty. By association. And you're wrong. And you're just like them. If you're not standing against it. You're not speaking against it or trying to find some way to be an influence and a help. To help protect the innocent. All these types of people in some way in these categories had an innocence or were innocent or may still be innocent in Yahuwah's eyes. Because Yahuwah is the judge, not man. And not man's religion. Flat out. So, for example, Spanish Inquisition, Roman Acquisition, and all that, the Arab Inquisitions, the Phoenician Inquisitions and acquisitions too. And what is that? Project Lucid Inquisition. That's a whole nother Inquisition and acquisition. This right here. Where you at? I gotta. Where are you? This is not a game. So when you're talking about situational awareness, you all need to be doing your due diligence to study, to learn, to grow. You know what I'm saying? To be prepared. There you are. And know how to conduct yourself and your family. This is MK Ultra programming. All the organizations, you know what I'm saying, that's targeting individuals, this is a real reality. I am alive by the grace of Yahuwah. I have made it out of it. Me, my children, and many, many more that I'm connected to. My family. Of all types of categories and where they came from and their experiences. This is a trafficking system. Human trafficking control system. This is what it is. It is demonic. It is satanic. It is, they're liars, they're thieves, they're murderers. They're manipulators. They're haters of what is right. And they adore what is wicked. They got their little fraternities, their little organizations and stuff like that out there, secret societies, because they don't want you to know what they're doing. This is exactly what they do. They exploit themselves, trying to exploiting others. So for all y'all that's not choosing to go to Yah and turn to Yah, you will experience this. This is your second captivity. That's their league, their alliance, union, European Union. Doctor Who, World Health Organization. Quasi-corporation Ponzi schemes. Pyramid schemes. Whatever they want to call it. All that. They're in corporations. Mafias. Bullies. That's not law. Through their propaganda campaigns and all that trash, man. Never trust the men in suits. Never trust a man or a woman who be winking at you. He who winketh with the eye causes great sorrow.
Like prophet.
See,
I sit at the table and we can eat together. Where your hands and your feet, your body get at. If you think you come with us, straight to your mouth right now. Yeah. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up?
You want to break bread with me? Yeah, I'm gonna eat some. We must be of the breaking of the bread, because bread come from Yahuwah. It is good. One piece bread. No, that's my piece bread. Bowls, cause y'all not about to get crumbs all over the floor. Be encouraged, y'all. Yahuwah is watching over his people. If they try to hurt you, Yahuwah will take them out. That's just all there is to it. Yahuwah will not sit by and watch his people continue to be terrorized and tormented and destroyed by wickedness. These are criminal organizations. You know what I'm saying? And you think that you watching us? What the?
We ate ours alone.
What happened to the peanut butter? You already put it in there?
Yeah, but it couldn't taste it all the way.
You don't need a whole lot of peanut butter though.
Isaiah gave us 3 scoops.
That's enough. God's got us. He's fighting for us. It's been that time. That's why our people are waking up more and more. But come here. Y'all not about to waste this stuff. Eat that. And go from there. Hey, don't start that. You didn't even finish what you have. Don't be greedy. You already know you do it. Y'all still be dropping food and stuff like that, making messes and walking off. I'm not about to do that. What the table is for. You sit down at the table and you eat at the table. Y'all should make that a practice too. Sitting down at the table and eating with your family. That's good practice. Ancient customs. But yeah, Yah Hallelujah. There will be another portion to this series. That portion, again, a part of that portion will be on BitChute. So be on the lookout for that. And if you want to help support and be involved, and really be impactful and make a difference, reach out to me. You can reach out to me by email. Join my Patreon. And join our school. You can look out for our merch. We got some awesome merch, some designs that some people have seen already, they're aware of, and they're dope. So yeah, and if there's anything that y'all have as an ideal to speak on, or do some studies and research on, this is all educational stuff. You know what I'm saying? And it's a vibe. You know what I'm saying? It's got a certain frequency to it that is holistic. So there's healing that comes in acknowledging truth, acknowledging what needs to be acknowledged. And as you see, I go by what Yah teaches me, providing evidence, and that comes, you know what I'm saying, as well as a part of my trainings. I feel like I just still said that wrong. I'm sleepy, but from training and evidence and providing evidence and stuff like that. So it's ingrained in me. It's very deeply ingrained. So it's very deeply ingrained in all my household. So like I said, we are armed differently. I'm armed with the word of Yahuwah and the Malakim that are commanded by Yahuwah's will in his hand, and the people that he has placed in our lives. So, you know, I feel like that's all the arming really necessary in certain areas. I will tell y'all, for self-defense, learn how to defend yourself. Get some training in martial arts. Mix martial arts according to your body type, your style, your physique, your flow, your abilities. I would say go into a holistic lifestyle of what you eat and what you drink and intake. Get a knowledge base on that and grow. Learn as you grow. Hey, focus on you. And help those. Pay it forward. Help those who help others and who are doing the work. And though be a difference. You know what I'm saying? Be a change. Somebody needs the light that is in you, and they need to see that and know that it's there with the consistency. You know, not for fame's sake, for men and all that. Bump all that. You know what I'm saying? that has its pros and cons, and more cons than pros. You know, I've seen stuff like that. It's humbled me. You know what I'm saying? Because it happened to me. You know, from being an influencer and everything was cool and fine to finding out that a lot of those people, from what Yah exposed to me, really didn't have the same heart, and he really made that known back then. So now there's new people involved. Some of them are they're from the good old days, but there's few of them from the good old days that are with us to this day, new ones. So you know, this is a work that is for the few, and it takes courage. Many people are just blindsided and just ignorant, and willingly ignorant and comfortable being ignorant, willingly, um, because they don't have to take responsibility, the accountability for their own lack of action, work, words, and thoughts, and desires, and practices. But I've learned much from my elders, um, allies, and people who just chose to be enemies. You know what I'm saying? Um, but I let Yahuwah handle them as He handles me. You know, because there's no greater way of getting vengeance or justice served than Yah. He has protected us from the police multiple times. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, I got stories for decades. I'm not even playing. I got testimonies for decades. You know what I'm saying? And I try to share some of them in each video of some type of way, um, to share my own testimony, and of those that I had promised over the years. You know what I'm saying, that I would get their story out there somewhere. You know what I'm saying, somehow. There's a family who lived in the shelter that we became really cool with. You know what I'm saying? We just lost contact with them over time. But shout out to you, Crystal, and Braden. We adore y'all. We miss y'all. Ariel and Sabes. I know y'all still around and kicking. Praise be to Yah. Rough Cat Blue, you too, brother. You know what I'm saying? I know you still around. And everything. You know, we all be going through our situations different times, but at least I know um we're doing this work still, and that's the diligence that's needed. You know what I'm saying? um Marquise, I went to school with his brother. We weren't really, involved with one another at school. He was on the football team, but he was involved with the whole barbecue thing, the community barbecue thing too. You know what I'm saying? He's been through a lot. I've seen him go through a lot. You know what I'm saying? And people treating him the same way, just very just nasty and wicked. You know what I'm saying? And me being who I am, I do not fear um, putting people in their place. As far as, I'm gonna tell you about yourself, um, if that's what you so choose to desire to take that route, because you're not gonna bully people around me. And if I hear that, and Yah sends me to say this as Yahuwah, or to speak up about it and expose it, I will. You know what I'm saying? I expose myself, so no one else is any different. What's right is right, and what's wicked is wicked in the eyes of Yah. So I'm in agreement with Yah, and I agree with Yah. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing to be scared of about that. You know what I'm saying? People are only scared because people having the tools to possibly take them out. But being through my own death experience and near death experiences, multiple ones after that over the years, I know that my very breath is Yahuwah's, and He sustains me and He keeps me in all my house. You know what I'm saying? And after all we done been through, and we're still here by His grace, He's not finished. And I know that. So wickedness, your days are numbered. What's they say? It's dark as day, it's dark as night. Something, something, something. Green Lantern's light or Green Lantern's might, whatever that is. But we know we watching you watch us too. We watching you watch us watch you too. We know you watching. When y'all permitted you to watch some of them, they're not able to watch no more because y'all has completely blinded them. So those who have been trying to watch, they're blinded too. Yahuwah is blinded you and deafened you. You know, Yahuwah is the power. They're not. These are men and hybrids that Yah has promised to eliminate. It's in His word. I find it interesting how they use a Bible as a weapon against people. Not even, not even, many people don't even realize, like, yo, Yah knows the deepest secrets of all of our hearts. So you're not getting away with anything. Like you're gonna answer for that. You have no choice. Yah is recompensing His children. Wicked will not stand a chance. He's taking you down. He's eliminating you. He is removing you and all that you have, replacing you, silenced you. You're comatose, paralyzed, numb, dumb, and blind, decimated, desolated, incinerated, annihilated, eradicated, obliterated, removed, rooted out, cast out, destroyed. All your devices and tears and strongholds and bondages and strongmens and confederacies and agencies and alliances and unions and leagues and contracts and all that weird stuff, man. It's in the definition. Yeah, hallelujah. So the slave trade system, that's why Yah they think that they're fulfilling their own prophecy, and they're deceived. You know what I'm saying? Yah has deceived them. So they are definitely deceived, and they don't realize in a huge way that Yah is dismantling them right in front of their eyes. He has put people out here to expose them. That's the heart of the Father. That's what He's doing, and there's nothing they can do to stop that. The chosen people of Yah that He has called and chosen, we will go back into our homeland. So don't think that you're going to sit there and take us out here, because He's not going to let you do it. You tried, and that's why you haven't been successful, because it's not His will. You know what I'm saying? God's promised to protect those who seek His heart, who do His will and obey His commandments and stuff like that. And He knows that we have a heart to do so. He designed us with it. So even in our own filthiness, He's had mercy and grace. You know what I'm saying? He don't have to do it. He do though. That's just that's His character. That's just who He is. So we honor that. You know what I'm saying? And you get to a point where it's like, I don't want to do bad. You know what I'm saying? Like even for the sake of mercy and grace and repentance, like I just want to do right, because it's good. It's right to do. That's deep. It's just what needs to be done. It's a thanksgiving. It's a thankfulness. It's an appreciation to Yah. Alliance, Confederacy, League, 15th century. Then from to God. It's deep. But yeah. Father, I continue to protect us. Will you please and thank you, and manifest your presence, make yourself known more and more, manifest your presence and materialize your presence, and assuring your people, your children, our people, that you are with us, and make our enemies to know and to fear, put them in fear and trembling, as in the times of the ancient times, the old days, to let them know we are your children and you adore us. We are your crown jewels. We are your called and chosen people. And you are opposed to those who are opposed to you and opposed to your people. all those who are trying to take on our identity, you're opposed to them. They are the enemies of Yahuwah. Thus says Yahuwah. So y'all need to abandon them religions because they're liars and they are the enemies of Yah. Be not deceived. Come up out of that in Yahuwah's name. Be released and free, set free from that in Yahuwah's name. And repent and seek Yahuwah in his ways and submit wholly and completely. It's a process. It's a growing process. It doesn't happen overnight. If y'all don't make it happen overnight, but you can do it. You can do it. He takes some of the people who's the worst of the worst. You know what I'm saying? Such as myself. I was very messed up growing up. I was very messed up because I've been so abused and used and manipulated and in all types of ways and tormented, literally tortured, literally publicly shamed. The initiations that they put me through, you know what I'm saying? Like in the witchcraft that they had put on me, you know what I'm saying? And things that they spoke about me and you know what I'm saying, being poisoned multiple times, diversely. Like like I said, I got stories for decades, yo. My autobiography is something. It's a whole nother zone, you know. From losing a child, literally, you know what I'm saying, that died, you know. One thing that I do know is sacrifice. That's what I do know. But now I can rejoice. You know what I'm saying? I came from being a man of so many sorrows for like 32 years, 33 years straight, 34 years straight. 30, you know what I'm saying? All the way from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. So I do not support what is opposed to Yahuwah. I don't support that mindset, those characters, you know. And Yahuwah has commanded many of y'all to come up out of Babylon. Come up out of Babylon. Yahuwah provides. And he will. He provides for his own. You know, the world is against you. That's just the real reality. And too many people are more and more people of all kinds are seeing that and speaking out on that, and they will continue to. You know, because that's their destiny to do so, man. There's salvation in that. In Yahuwah name alone. There is no other name to whereby we can, or you know what I'm saying, where we can, how we can be saved. Jesus will not save you. He cannot save you. Yahusha will not save you. He cannot save you. The Buddha guy cannot save you. He will not save you. Allah will not save you. He cannot save you. Who else? Lucifer, Azazel, the man of sin, you know, the papacy will not save you. They cannot save you. The government of men, their commandments of their traditions and theosophies and philosophies and seances and witchcrafts and idols and traditions and all that and religion, they cannot save you. They will not save you. Your own pocketbook will not save you. It cannot save you. You cannot save you. You will not save you. The beasts of the field and the earth, the fowl that fly in above the earth, in the first Shamaim, the creatures in the deep, they will not save you. They cannot save you. All the devices out here and tools and resources, they cannot save you. They will not save you. Salvation is through Yahuwah and Yahuwah alone. All else is exposed and put to shame that tries to or that is opposed to that. Yahuwah will give. He gives us resources and will give us resources and tools, to get out of to get things done or out of certain situations or whatever. But it's Yahuwah doing the deliverance and all of that. He's the provider, stronghold, strong tower, all of it. A rock, protector, all of that. You know what I'm saying? And my hope and my decree and my prayer is that y'all just destroy all of your enemies out of your lives. Let you go free completely in all ways and all things. Your name out of their registers, out of their documents, out of their databases, out of their files. You know what I'm saying? Out of the system. Like you just, I hope that y'all just cause something to happen. I don't know what, you know what I'm saying, but something that can just like just completely confuse them in all ways. You know what I'm saying? That they can't undo, or they can't figure it out. They don't know what to think, you know what I'm saying, in their minds. Like confuse their minds in that point where it's like they can't even remember. They won't remember. They will not remember our names. You know what I'm saying? Because the mind is a database, literally. You know, memory, all that. This is why they attacked the mind so much when they did to those whom they did. But Yah has stripped them of that, so that's over with. There will be no more of that. Yahuwah will not let it do it. And if they think to try to do something, Yah's gonna tear them down right then and there. They're not gonna make it to me. They're not gonna make it to you. They're not gonna be able to do it. We know that they track people through, you know what I'm saying, their phones and their computers and information and stuff of their identity and stuff like that online. We know that they do that. But Yah put a stop to that. They just haven't realized it yet. When they realize that he already stopped it and cut it off and cut them off from doing so, they're absolutely dumbfounded. Because Yahuwah is the greatest. And if you don't like it, oh well, we stand by that. I do. And I stand in that. Nobody cares if y'all don't like it. What about all these people y'all been murdering and killing and hurting and stuff? That's wrong. Talk about standing against gun violence. Y'all the ones that push that stuff out there on people and use it against the people. You gonna try to hold everybody else accountable out that you push the stuff out to, but you're not gonna hold yourself accountable? Yeah, you just ignorant. You just stupid. And you know what I'm saying? I don't think anybody should ever have to resort to going to a gun to you know what I'm saying, solve their disputes. Like you should go to Yah. Your weapons, it cannot, you know what I'm saying, like don't depend on that. Don't depend on your own strength, your own chariots, your own abilities and skills. That's not gonna save you. I know. I have tried, not with a gun, because that's just not who I am. You know what I'm saying? But trying to save myself through my own abilities, you know what I'm saying, and my own strength, that has failed me every single time. So my only strength I have is Yahuwah now. Because what y'all need to realize is you are stronger than they are. You are greater than they are. And they're threatened by that. They do not like to be inferior because they are reminded of that truth that they are. And that's just all there is to it, because that says Yahuwah. They are inferior. Stealing, killing, and destroying, lying, that's not power. That's weak toxicity, narcissistic garbage. Focusing on yourself all the time, your pride, your own image, your own self-success, that's a narcissist mindset. Most narcissists smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave. They be so beautiful and exotic, extravagant looking, all put together, and inside they're in ruins. In their heart, they're in ruins. They have no identity. That's why they project themselves out there like that. Oh, super successful. This is what it looks like to be successful. Being you, the creature Yahuwah designed you to be for his glory, and acknowledging your creator and exalting him above all things as he is exalted above all things. There's nothing you can do to change that or stop that. That's just the way it is. Accept it, receive it, flow in it, and rejoice and be in shalom. Fighting against it is messing you up. You know what I'm saying? But that apart from that, you have no identity. Apart from Yah, there is no identity. There's no place for you apart from him. There's no purpose for you apart from him. You're literally dead in your thinking and dead while you live. You're a zombie, a Rephaim, a wraith, a wandering spirit. Hallelujah. I'm gonna end with this song. Oh, that was it. Have a lovely day, y'all. Baruch, can you hear a name? Healing in life. You're safe and protected and guarded. Yahuwah! Be free. Generational faces. Destiny Yahuwah name. Total shalom. Even your dreams. Black tops with grip size and dope rocks. And those sides with pop rocks, control blocks. With ghost cops and ghost plots, see no shots. With pop drop and hopscotch and pop lock. You officially a patient. You be bobbing and you bobbing the jump spot. You officially a patient. You officially a patient now. You officially a patient now. You officially a patient now. You officially a patient. You officially a patient now. 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 Yeah. You officially a patient now. 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 You officially a patient. 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 Bang this y'all music. This y'all praise, your hallelujah.